Welcome back to the channel. Greg Allen F1, coming to you with the crazy Monaco 2022 race results. What an absolute fantastic Grand Prix we got today. It had a little bit of everything. Absolute chaos from the moment the broadcast started. Definitely making up for the last few Monaco Grand Prix that were a little bit of a snooze fest. This one was anything but that. You had a little bit of everything. Watched racing for about 3.5, 4 hours today. Ran into a time limit issue. Other than that, cannot complain about Monaco. Let's get into it. Rain causing havoc to start this one today. Tons of rain before they ever actually get onto the grid today. And then we get weird race control and race direction where they're saying that the formation lap is going to start in 7 minutes, then 10 minutes. And they just take their time with that. And then we had mechanics running all over the pit road trying to figure out what tires to put on these cars. Totally fascinating before we ever even get these cars rolling. What are they going to do with tires? They're going to put on intermediates. They're going to put on full wets. They don't know what to do because race direction, not totally clear to start. Then they're out there on the formation lap, and in the middle of talking, the broadcasters, the race has started. Next thing you know, up on the board, it says we're on lap 2 of the race. So I thought that was super confusing. Couldn't be any more confusing if you were watching. So much so that the broadcasters didn't even know the race started. So 2 laps into it. And Latifi and Stroll got right to it, and both of them smacked the wall before we even knew the race was started. So, that was going to happen at some point in Monaco, probably for those two. So they got it done right away, and didn't make us have any suspense on that one. So, lap 3, we're full green now, finally. And we got a bunch of people towards the back boxing for intermediates, trying to gain that little bit of advantage. Gasly definitely gave him an advantage. So Gasly's super fast by lap 13. He is making passes left and right. Overtakes at Monaco, love to see it. Rare to see, but because of his huge tire advantage, we had a pretty good one with Gasly for a little while in there. Had a couple close calls with Ricardo, does eventually get around him though. Lap 17, Checo boxes for intermediates, and I put Max favorite again because I didn't think that was the right call at the time. Forgive my hand. I don't actually have a tripod on the road here, and my arm is getting tired. So, not the case though. Checo obviously goes on to win this Grand Prix, so strategy really good for Red Bull all day long. Ferrari now has questions in lap 18 on whether or not they should box for intermediates or for slicks, and Carlos Sainz gets it right and says, no, I want to wait for the full slicks. Leclerc comes in and boxes, and that winds up costing Ferrari a little bit in this one. So Leclerc boxes for the intermediates, then shortly thereafter has to box again for full slicks. That winds up being extremely costly. They get the strategy all wrong, and Leclerc pretty much never had a chance to even get a podium in this race as a result. Extremely upset later on in this race when he realizes that. But Verstappen, Leclerc box for Inters, like I said. Lap 20, Hamilton versus Esteban Ocon was fantastic racing going on there, but they have a collision there, and later on Ocon gets a 5-second penalty, which would wind up being super costly for him. But I thought that was some of the best racing I've seen at Monaco in a while until the end of this race, where we got some really great racing again. Great battle, just Ocon and him had a collision. Ultimately, stewards do rule. Esteban Ocon is to blame for that one. Lap 22, Ferrari does box for slicks. Leclerc super pissed at this point. He realizes the strategy did not work, and he winds up behind his teammate, winds up behind Max, and it's incredibly costly for him. It takes him out from being comfortably in the lead of this race, and Ferrari just gets the strategy wrong again. Kind of shades of 2020 Ferrari there on the strategy for their leader. Leclerc finished the race at Monaco, so there's something to build on there. Don't think he's going to be happy about it, though. That's not going to be much of a consolation if you're Charles Leclerc. So Checo takes the lead, lap 23. Red Bull, better strategy is what I wrote here. Lap 24, Carlos Sainz has an amazing save down the pit straight. That car was full sideways, and that man figured out how to save it and not put that thing in the barrier, which I thought for sure it was headed there. Thought that was just a pretty incredible moment in the race. So again, I don't have a tripod. Arm's super tired. So let me put this back up. Probably a pretty shaky video. Apologies if this is your first time coming across one of my videos. Not normally like this. So lap 27. I ran out of space on this board and had to actually start using this side. Mick Schumacher just has an incredible crash again. Car splits in half, and I'm getting real worried about Haas. That's the third time we've seen a Haas split in half in 2 years. Scary every single time. You hate to see it. Quietly, also, we lost Kevin Magnussen from this race, which the announcers didn't even realize. That was a water issue, I guess, water coolant issues in his engine. And then Mick Schumacher just has a tremendous crash here. Glad he's okay and walked away from that one. Scary looking crash. Looked worse than it was, so grateful for that, but not a great day for Haas. They finished 19th and 20th. Rolling start on lap 33. Checo locks up. This is after a long red flag period that Red Bull decides to go with the mediums, which I thought was a questionable decision. Works out for them in the end, but it certainly made for a more exciting end to this race than they probably wanted. Checo's lockup would play a big role towards the end of this race, as his tire grading issues would wind up being a big story towards the end of it. That's what would give us the fantastic end of this Grand Prix. Not lap anymore. So now we get in time limit issues. So that's the other big part of this race. We ran out of time. So this winds up being a rolling clock from about 38 minutes to go, and we're not looking at laps anymore. So it's anyone's guess on how many laps we're going to get left. Checo does a pretty good job managing that, by the way, managing the clock, especially towards the end. 21 minutes to go, Alonso train starts to build up. Fernando Alonso holding up Lewis Hamilton, who was much faster in pace, but does a great job. But you wind up getting that huge train no one can pass, and it made for some pretty interesting racing. No major overtakes happened but it was definitely interesting to watch. 10 minutes to go, Carlos Sainz starts closing in, and so does Max on Carlos Sainz, and we got a 4-car battle for the last 10 minutes of this race that was fantastic to watch. Some of the best racing I've seen at Monaco, probably in like a decade, at least the last 5 years. Super interesting story all the way to the end. Checo's tires are going away. Carlos tried to put on the pressure, but in the end, a brilliant drive by both of them, and it works out for Checo in the end. 4-car battle for the lead, like I said here, really great stuff. But in the end, Checo holds on to the win. Sergio Perez, the Mexican driver, is a Monaco Grand Prix champion. A great day for Mexico. Carlos Sainz, once again, the bridesmaid, and comes in second. He's got to be getting close to a win, I think, at this point. He'll be happy with that. His teammate, not so much today. And Max Verstappen gets a solid P3. So all in all, an absolutely thrilling Monaco Grand Prix. Had everything you could actually want from this race. By far the most interesting Monaco GP I've watched in probably, like I said, 5 years. Really enjoyed that from start to finish. Red flag periods were a little rough to sit through, of course. But anytime you get weather influencing a race like this, you had craziness from right in the beginning of this race with the mechanics, which was just a lot of fun to watch. And then good racing, really good racing all up and down the track. I do wish there was a little bit easier to make overtakes and that there were some DRS zones that actually made a difference. But there were some harrowing moments throughout this race that made it a thrilling watch. Couldn't be happier for Checo. Like to see Carlos get a win soon. All in all, a great day. Just Red Bull was a little bit better on the strategy in the end, and they double podium. So let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you like this channel, give me a like and subscribe. If you're new to this channel, I usually do have a whiteboard. I also usually have better lighting, better sound, and a tripod, so sorry for the shaky video today. Catch you in the next one. Thank you.